back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, Caught My Wife Cheating and It Brought Me Relief. I'm Released from the Turmoil. And guys, this story is about a guy who is finally, after a lot of turmoil he's going through, is going to have the last laugh here. This is a guy, a husband and father, who after 9 years of marriage, out of nowhere, his wife informed him she wants to divorce him. And all of a sudden is making everything his fault. And the sad thing is they have 3 kids. One is 8, 6, and 4 years old. Little kids. We're definitely going to be impacted by this. And this guy's really tried a lot of things. Nope, doesn't matter. She wants to get rid of him. Well, guess what? Turns out that the husband, she's up to no good. There's a reason she wants to divorce this guy with so much determination. And this guy catches her on. And you're going to see how this guy will have the last laugh. And it's a very good one here. And so let me go over here. Guy having the last laugh. But the thing is, in a story like this, when there's divorce and there's kids involved, there's really no winner. There's just, there's no winning. There's just degrees of losing. And he'll lose not as bad as the ex, the soon-to-be ex here. It says here, about 2 months ago, our wife expressed her desire for a divorce. She was unhappy in our marriage. She felt like I didn't support her emotional needs. I was too cold and too negative. I was shocked to the core. Our marriage was foundational to my identity. That is with a lot of guys. They take great pride that I got a good family here and kids and, I've been a faithful husband for over 9 years, a great provider, and we got 3 kids, 8, 6, and 4. There you go. And I believe him. He says faithful, never cheated on her, probably had some opportunities, but never did. Took care of her, took care of the family, and out of nowhere, here you go. He's the bad guy. Sure, we've had our problems, but it wasn't anything we couldn't work through. I pleaded to give me a chance to work on myself and to go to marriage counseling. She agreed to the counseling. Smack! Pleading is begging, and no man should ever beg. That is just going to make her lose more respect for you. Guys, no, never beg, never plead. That is weakness. I get the guy was shocked. I get he felt like the foundation underneath him was cracking, but no, you can't be that way. And him work on himself. How about she work on herself? What does she bring to the table here? Why is always the guy who's the villain in this situation? The next month was the hardest of my life. Yeah, because of the uncertainty. I spiraled into a deep depression, trying to understand how I had screwed up so bad that my wife was already ready to end our marriage. For a lot of guys, it's natural to think that, what did I do? But what about what's she doing? What did she do? Every marriage, every relationship has ups and downs, but there's degrees to this, There are ups and downs that you can work through. But then there's ups and downs that there's no coming back from here. And, well, you're about to find out here. But no, why is it always the guy that did that? She was so hurtful in the way she constantly brought up my failures over the past 10 years, our incompatibility, her unwillingness to forgive, etc. Failures? What about her failures? I'm sure there are things that she's done that has made things difficult. I'm sure there's personal characteristics about her that aren't too great. I'm sure she's not perfect, and he's overlooked them for what he thought was the greater good, thinking that the good outweighed the bad and all that. I threw myself into getting better. I sought help with the depression, started Zoloft, read everything I could on fixing a marriage. I apologized and took responsibility for the pain I've caused. Well, if there were actions you clearly knew weren't too good, okay, fair enough. But if you're apologizing for the sake of apologizing, well, that's ridiculous. Okay? But this is how someone like a wife here, who clearly has the upper hand, operates. Manipulating the guy, make it's all his fault. But it was never enough. It just pushed her further away. Well, she was obviously already taken, as you're about to find out. Anyway, doesn't make a difference what he would do. But also, if a guy is begging and pleading and acting weak, that's just going to turn a woman off even more. So I'm not surprised there. Then she backed me into a corner. She called my family to get them to help me, telling that I was thinking about offing myself. I was not. She wanted me to move in with my parents so I could work on myself, using our relationship as incentive to move out. We can't get any better until you get better, she said. And she threatened to withhold our kids, saying you're too unstable to be alone with the kids. I call bullshit on this. I think she obviously was depressed. Fair enough. He has good reason to be. But I think she was using this as an opportunity to then, in the divorce proceedings, get the kids. Think about it. He had to move out because, he was I thought he was going to end his life, and he's not in a stable place, so he can't have the custody of the kids, that type of thing. She says, I won't keep them from you. You can have supervised visits. Supervised visits? Oh, great. Thanks, honey. She also threatened to have me evicted. We live on her family farm, so she could stay in the event of a divorce, but I could not. She said her mom was going to send an eviction notice. This is the thanks this guy gets for 9 years of love and support, loyalty, taking care of them. He's being evicted by his mother-in-law, and you can see the kids, but supervised visits, of course, and you're so depressed and everything. Like, are you kidding me? This woman is evil, but don't worry. A few weeks ago, I finally started to seek guidance from friends, family, and a couple of attorneys. They couldn't understand her unwillingness to reconcile our marriage. When they're that unwilling, then obviously something else is going on. We had a great thing going, so you thought. Finally, an attorney suggested I hire a private investigator. Aha! It's legal to track the car she drives in and look at the call text logs with our cell phone provider. I haven't hired a PI, but I did look into her cell records. Phone records for you foreigners. We call them cell phones here, but everybody else calls them mobile. She started texting another man about 3 weeks before she brought up divorce. 3 weeks? She wants to end the marriage over a 3-week fling. He is extremely wealthy, with children the same age, and is going through divorce himself. There you go. She's monkey branched over to the wealthy guy. 3 weeks. That's all it took. She's been talking with the same attorney he is using for his divorce. Last week, I ordered a GPS tracking device to be put in her car. It arrived in my office yesterday, so I charged it up and figured out the app. When I got home, I put the tracker in her glove box. She told me she was going to go see her friend last night. A few girls were getting together to have some wine and adult conversation. They needed some girl time. After the kids went to bed, she showered, put on makeup, and left the house around 8 p.m. She normally goes to bed about 9 p.m., so this was strange. So I'm guessing she's done this before. This guy was so-called evicted from the house. I pulled up the tracking app. She didn't go to the friend's house. She went to the man's house. She's been texting for 2 months. She stayed until after midnight before coming home. It all makes sense now. The unwillingness to reconcile, the regular overnights at her mom's house, 2 miles from his house. I believe she's been cheating for a while. There you go. That's all he needs. Right then. That's why she's doing all this. Unwilling to reconcile. Now, obviously, the begging and pleading ain't helping his case, but she already made up her mind a long time ago. And she said the guy's super wealthy. Now, in a moment, we're going to find out more details about the guy. And this guy is he may be wealthy, but he's a fucking loser. The proof of cheating has actually provided me with some relief. In South Carolina, you cannot get alimony if you commit adultery, and you can avoid the requirement to live separately for 1 year before a divorce. Wonderful. No alimony for her because he's got the evidence she's cheating. Get more record, get more proof, dude. Details. Maybe even hire a private investigator anyway, that you can get even more information than you can get just to make sure. Not having to pay alimony ever is wonderful. And not having to do the whole living separately 1 year before divorce thing. You can just move on to the divorce. The burden of proof is quite low. Basically, just inclination and opportunity. I'm going to retain an attorney today and serve her with divorce papers as soon as I have adequate proof. I'm no longer stuck trying to save our marriage. I see she's not the woman I thought she was. She's manipulating me, gaslighting me into thinking I'm the problem. There you go. She's evil. And I think this is wonderful, so good. I'm sorry this happened to him, this poor guy. And I'm also the kids. Now, let me make this clear. I always say, far better for kids to be raised in a house with two homes with two parents that are happily divorced than two parents living under the same roof that are unhappily married and miserable and fighting all the time, because that will affect those kids. A lot of people don't like when I say that, but I got a lot of people that back me up in this and say, yeah, I was a kid in a household mom and dad hated each other. It was miserable. So there you go, because those kids made up relationships just like that down the road, thinking that's normal. So I'm sorry for this guy, but you know what? I think he's now realizing the snake that she is. She's not who he thought she was. And now he's had some peace here, and now he's got the proof. He can divorce her. Now the update. It says, so today we had mediation, and she faced the repercussions of her affair. Get your popcorn, guys. It's been 5 months since I discovered her infidelity, after which she moved out and filed for divorce. So now she moved out? That's the part I'm confused about. I never mentioned that I knew what she had done. I went gray rock, got my affairs in order, and worked through my own mental anguish. But today was fun. Since she filed for divorce, she made the first offer on the separation agreement. I've been waiting for this moment to break the news that alimony is off the table. We're in an at-fault divorce state where infidelity is a bar to alimony. Yeah, this isn't an alimony case. We've got thousands of text messages to her affair partner and GPS data that puts her at his house for late-night rendezvous, statements from the country club where they hung out, drinking together, and the kicker, health insurance explanation of benefits, where she was screened for STDs and subsequently treated for some sort of infection. She got STD from this guy. Guess what? He's probably banging other chicks. He says, we haven't had a SEX in 2023. I just wish I could have seen the look on her face when she found out. Needless to say, medication took a big swing in my favor. Mediation, not medication. Mediation took a big swing in my favor to avoid an at-fault trial. Can you imagine how shocked she was when she found out that, guess what, this guy had all this dirt on her, that she was cheating. She ain't getting any alimony. But she's probably thinking, who cares, because I'm going to be with this new guy who's super wealthy. Well, Mr. New Guy doesn't exactly have a track record of lasting relationships. Another interesting nugget for today, her attorney was apparently recommended by the affair partner, who is using the same attorney for his third divorce. Her affair partner is 60 years old, she's 39, but looks more like an attractive 29. Quite wealthy, obviously on steroids, and a real fuckboy type. Third divorce, huh? Does she really think this guy's going to marry her? Or she's thinking, okay, I'll get him to marry me because I'm younger, and then she'll get a piece of his action. Do you think this guy doesn't know how to handle things, that he can minimize the impact of the divorce? He'll probably dump her the second she's divorced. He cheated on his wife with the nanny and is paying her millions in the divorce. Cheating with the nanny? Is this Arnold Schwarzenegger? I overheard their attorney chatting with my attorney in the hallway. Their attorney said, wow, she's fucking that douchebag. Yeah, effing that douchebag cost her a marriage, probably $1 million in alimony, plus some sort of crotch rot parting gift. Judging by the cell carrier records, they apparently broke up around the time she was treating her infection. So, he's saying they broke up? I'm not sure. Judging by the cell carrier records, they apparently broke up around the time she was treating her infection. I'm guessing he's meaning that his soon-to-be ex-wife and that guy broke up. Or they're talking about their divorce. I don't know, but there's breaking up going on. This isn't too good for his now soon-to-be ex-wife. And you know what? That's wonderful. She's getting what she deserves. I'm willing to bet you that, in fact, that they did break up and it isn't working out. She's going to be coming to this guy begging for a second chance. No way. Now, he has another update here that talks about himself and what he's going through with some chick he used to know. And I'm going to wrap it up. He says, my divorce saga has been interesting to say the least. Just look at my post history. So last week, I reached out to a former girlfriend from college. She recently moved back to the area and is single. We met for dinner and had an amazing time together. Slow down, dude. I get you're going through hell. I get you're lonely and all that, but this is not the time to go jumping into another relationship with a former flame, okay? No. And there's a reason that an ex is an ex unless something happened that I don't know about. I was fearful that she or anyone else I would be interested in would see red flags in my failed marriage, my children, my emotional baggage. What I found was quite the opposite. She's had her ups and downs in life, and she's been through a failed marriage as well. She seriously dated a man with a young child, and she has her own baggage. Okay, well, guess what? Pretty much half the population or more gets divorced nowadays, but still, she's got her baggage, he says. You don't need someone with a shitload of baggage to add to your baggage. This could be a problem. I feel like we have a genuine connection and compatibility that is hard to find in life. She always felt like the one who got away, like our timing was just wrong before. We share our mutual interest in one another. We're in agreement to take it slow. Our breakup so many years ago was, in her words, a real mindfuck, so we're both cautious. If it didn't work out the first time, then why do you think it's going to work out the second time? Now, maybe you were young and there were circumstances, I don't know about that, where she went off to college or you went off to college, who knows, but usually it didn't work out the first time, and she's also divorced like you, and other issues, he said, so baggage, he said, so this could be a problem. Now, I'm holding myself back from running to her. Smack! For God's sakes, dude. Slow down. You gotta get divorced first. because she could use this your wife could use this against you. Are you out of your fucking mind? Slow down. You can handle being alone. I don't want to lose the opportunity to see if we could create a wonderful life. Smack. Dude, there's 8 billion people on the planet and half are women, okay? I'm sure there's other gals that you can connect with and make it like this girl's your only hope to happiness here. That's ridiculous. When people rush into relationships thinking that's the only chance they can get, it usually ends very badly. But I don't want to be reckless. I don't want to be ashamed of anything that happens. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I want her, but I feel like I can't have her yet. I'm over a year plus without any intimate activity, 7 months into separation and living alone, and 5 months to go before the divorce can be finalized. Then wait 5 months. Okay, guess what? He says over a year without any intimacy. Guess what? There's plenty of dudes out there that have gone longer than a year without getting any, and they've got through it. And I know you're going through hell, but don't rush things. I know there's no reconciliation with my wife. I'm no longer angry at her. I'm no longer grieving the failed marriage. But how do I know I'm ready to move on? When is it okay to date again? The last thing I want to do is hurt somebody I genuinely care about. I don't want to use her as a rebound, and I don't want to sleep around just to make someone else the rebound instead. For God's sakes, bro, you are really getting worked up here, okay? I get his life is crumbling and everything, fair enough, but what you need to do is slow down. You need to say no dating and any of that shit until after the divorce. Your wife and her lawyer could use this against you, okay? Then afterwards, take it slow. And for God's sakes, there's 8 billion people on the planet, half are women. If it doesn't work out with this one, guess what? There's other opportunities out there. But you got to work on yourself. You need to heal, my man. 9 years is no small thing. You also need to spend less time thinking about getting laid or getting a new girlfriend. And to also spend extra time with your kids, letting your kids know that you love them, you're there for them, it's not their fault. Mom and dad still love you, blah, blah, blah. That's what you need to focus your attention on. You can focus on chicks later on. After you take care of your kids, work on yourself. And I'm sorry you're going through this, and she's a witch. And if given that guy she's having the affair with track record is any indication, it's not going to work out well for her. And just be careful, she's going to be coming back begging for a second chance down the road. But anyhow, that's what I think. And by the way, perhaps maybe filing an alienation of affection lawsuit against that guy who's banging your wife because he's rich, and I'm sure lawyers love to go after guys with money because he added to your marriage not working out. There's an idea that can help you out. Think about that. But anyhow, guys, there you go. So this guy, although it's crumbling for him and he's going through a hard time, and his wife is the one who pulled this whole thing, he gets to have the last laugh. You're not having to pay alimony. He may even win an alienation affection lawsuit against that guy. You never know. So a guy ending on top. But if he isn't careful, he's going to make another mistake. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.